Hi there, this is Liberty Ronan from San Juan, Puerto Rico, for New Era Boxing. I just wanted to take some minutes in order to express my 2 cents about a report that was presented by Mr. Nick Parkinson from ESPN Boxing 2 days ago, the 21st of July. He basically was trying to share with us some, between quotes, fights that are possible to be made for this for the month to come. And I think that he missed it brutally. I really don't think that this is responsible from his part, and especially from an establishment with all the accolades that ESPN has. And I'm speaking more specifically about the 4 fights that were reported by him. And of course, I think that he missed it in 3 of the 4, who is kind of irresponsible from my point of view, in the case that you consider yourself a real boxing fan, not a casual boxing fan. And in my case, I'm an orthodox boxing fan, and I really don't want to support something about the 3 of the 4 fights that Mr. Parkinson mentioned 2 days ago. I think the only one that is basically a good point to bring up was the possible fight between Alexander Usyk and Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker has been brick by brick doing his thing, and definitely today he's possibly the only guy out there who is capable to challenge a guy like Alexander Usyk. The other ones out there, I don't think they have necessarily an opportunity. I think Parker was a former champion. He has made some significant fights, and I think he has made a couple of good fights recently, having very good results. And I think that he has all the tools capable to have an interesting fight with Alexander Usyk. I'm putting this fight alone aside. My focus on Mr. Parkinson's report were most related with the other 3 fights that he brought up, more specifically about Teofimo Lopez versus Rolando Romero. I think this is crazy, because I think Rolly Romero in lightweight and super lightweight, he did good. He didn't give us significant fights at all. I think he missed a good opportunity with Gervonta Davis. He was brutally knocked out. And in the same token, he experienced in 140, in super lightweight, the same experience with Isaac Pitbull Cruz, who is probably the only knockout in recent fights that Mr. Cruz has made. And the expectations about the fight that he had recently with Ryan Garcia, very little people, very not too many people out there were capable to see him winning that fight. And I was one of them. But he was facing probably a real, clean Ryan Garcia. And because of that, he made it. And maybe he did the fight of his life. At the end, he received his Christmas gift ahead of time, several months ahead. And he won. He won that fight. And it is interesting because Mr. Rolly Romero, I don't think he has the accolades to face a super lightweight champion in Teofimo Lopez, who has a bunch of other several fights capable to be made in the super lightweight. I don't understand why Teofimo Lopez is not facing real fights. Some people around, like Subriel Matias and other people, consider himself a coward. And probably he is. I think that he priced himself too high. And he's a good boxer. And probably he has the opportunity to clean that division. But for some reason, he priced himself too high. And he's not giving us the fights that we want. Secondly, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. Come on. Jake Paul is a YouTuber. Anthony Joshua is almost out of boxing. And Mr. Parkinson, you consider this an interesting fight at all? How in the world you're capable, not this time, but since years ago, you are presenting Mr. Jake Paul ahead of 90% or more of other fighters out there, real fighters. And for some reason, ESPN and yourself and other reporters as well from ESPN consider significant enough to speak, to write, and to report about Jake Paul. Come on, he's doing a very good job about the things that he's doing with female boxing, especially with our GOAT in Amanda Serrano. He's doing very good things in that particular field, but he, as a boxer, the only real fighter that he has faced was Tommy Fury, and he lost that fight. And you are talking about doing as a real fight with Anthony Joshua, who is almost out of boxing? I don't think that neither one of them deserve the consideration and the lines that you, Mr. Parkinson, are trying to sell out there, speaking on behalf of ESPN. I don't think that that is wise enough and responsible enough from your part and from ESPN too. And finally, you are trying to sell at some point a fight with Shakur Stevenson versus Conor Benn. Conor Benn is a welterweight fighter who is trying to become a figure thanks to his genes coming from his father, Nigel Benn. And he has been facing this other guy, one or two divisions above him, and trying to do a lot of noise about that. And good for you, because you are doing good business in Britain. And that's okay. But that is one thing. Another thing is that a guy like Shakur Stevenson, who is probably one of the top 10, top 15 fighters out there, why you are bringing that possibility to ESPN and to be presented to people out there like the big fight. Come on. Shakur Stevenson is a lightweight fighter. Conor Ben has been fighting 154 and above, and recently has been recognized as a welterweight. Why this is possible in your world? I don't think this is responsible. I don't think this is good fights for real fans out there. And I think that ESPN and yourself, for some reason, are doing too much noise, giving too much consideration to the commercial side of the house instead of trying to support real fights, the fights that we want to see. This is an extension of the bad things and the bad experiences that we have been facing the last several years, coming from people like Saul Canelo Alvarez. Come on. He's not giving us the fights that we want. When they won, people like Teofimo, people like Saul Canelo Alvarez, the same Gervonta Davis, they price themselves too high. And they're not giving us the fights that we want. And coming from ESPN and yourself, Mr. Parkinson, I don't think, once again, this is not responsible. I don't think this is in favor of boxing. So, try to educate the people out there. Try to support the boxing fans, the real boxing fans, and the other casual fans too. I think that you have a responsibility as a reporter for ESPN. So please do your part. Be responsible. You can do it. We count on you. And if you're not capable to do something like that, retire yourself and go out there and do some other things. But at the same time, if you have the opportunity, if you have the platform, come on, you can do better. I'm counting on you. From New Era, New Golden Era Boxing, Liberty Rowland. Take care.